Alexander Harrington gazed out the floor-to-ceiling windows of his penthouse overlooking Manhattan's glittering skyline. At 45, he was the epitome of success, a tech mogul whose company had revolutionized AI-driven finance, amassing a fortune that could buy islands or silent scandals. But success came at a cost. His days blurred into endless board meetings, international flights, and high-stakes negotiations, leaving little room for his two children, 8-year-old Isabella, with her wide-eyed curiosity and infectious laugh, and 6-year-old Ethan, a quiet dreamer who clung to his stuffed bear like a lifeline. Alexander's wife, Sophia, had passed away 3 years ago in a tragic car accident, a loss that shattered him. He buried his grief in work, convinced that providing every material luxury would fill the void. The children had the best: private tutors, sprawling playrooms filled with gadgets, and a live-in nanny named Evelyn Brooks. Evelyn was impeccable on paper, recommended by an elite agency, with glowing references and a degree in child psychology. Alexander paid her handsomely, ensuring she had everything she needed. Money solves problems, he often told himself. It had built his empire. Surely it could mend a broken family. One crisp autumn evening, Alexander returned home earlier than usual. A deal had fallen through, leaving him irritable and exhausted. He planned to grab a quick scotch and retreat to his study. As he stepped off the elevator into the marble-floored foyer, he heard voices from the children's wing, sharp, unfamiliar tones that made him pause. "Stop whining, Isabella. You're acting like a spoiled brat," Evelyn's voice snapped, laced with impatience. Alexander froze, his hand on the doorknob. He had never heard her like this. Peering through the slightly ajar door to the playroom, he watched in stunned silence. Isabella sat on the floor, tears streaming down her cheeks, surrounded by scattered puzzle pieces. "But I can't do it alone," she whimpered. "Mommy used to help me." Evelyn loomed over her, arms crossed. "Your mother isn't here, and neither is your father. He's too busy making money to care. Now pick those up, or no dinner for you." Her words were cold, devoid of the warmth Alexander had assumed she possessed. Ethan huddled in the corner, clutching his bear, his small frame trembling. "Please, Miss Evelyn, don't yell," he whispered. Evelyn whirled on him. "Quiet, Ethan. You're always so needy. If you weren't so weak, maybe your father would spend time with you." She grabbed his arm roughly, pulling him to his feet. "Stand up straight. Act like you belong in this house." Alexander's heart clenched. This wasn't discipline. It was cruelty. How long had this been going on? He thought back to the subtle signs he'd ignored: the children's withdrawn demeanor at breakfast, Isabella's sudden reluctance to share her drawings, Ethan's nightmares that Evelyn dismissed as childish drama. He'd chalked it up to grief, assuring himself that Evelyn's firm hand was what they needed. After all, he paid top dollar for her expertise. Bursting into the room, Alexander's voice thundered. "What the hell is going on here?" Evelyn startled, her face paling. "Mr. Harrington. I was just teaching them responsibility." "By belittling them? By making them feel worthless?" He scooped Ethan into his arms, feeling the boy's sobs against his chest. Isabella ran to him, burying her face in his side. Evelyn stammered, "They're spoiled, sir. They need structure." "Get out," Alexander growled. "Now. And don't come back." As Evelyn gathered her things and left, the penthouse fell silent except for the children's quiet cries. Alexander knelt, pulling them close. For the first time in years, he truly saw them, not as obligations to be managed, but as fragile souls aching for love. "I'm so sorry," he whispered, his voice breaking. "Daddy's here now." That night, Alexander didn't retreat to his study. Instead, he sat on the floor with Isabella and Ethan, helping with the puzzle. Piece by piece, they built a castle, laughing as Ethan made silly faces. Isabella's eyes lit up when Alexander praised her creativity, and Ethan relaxed, his bear forgotten in the warmth of the moment. But the realization hit him like a tidal wave. All the wealth in the world couldn't buy genuine care. He'd outsourced his role as a father, believing money could substitute for presence. Evelyn's cruelty was a mirror, reflecting his own neglect. How many milestones had he missed? First steps in grief counseling, school plays, bedtime stories? Sophia would have been heartbroken. The next morning, Alexander called his assistant. "Cancel everything for the week. Family emergency." He enrolled the children in a new school, one with a nurturing environment, and began interviewing nannies personally, this time, prioritizing kindness over credentials. Days turned into weeks of transformation. Alexander cut back on work, delegating to his trusted team. He took Isabella and Ethan to Central Park, where they fed ducks and chased leaves in the wind. At home, he cooked simple meals, burnt pancakes that made them giggle, and read stories until their eyelids drooped. Isabella blossomed, her artwork filling the walls, while Ethan grew bolder, sharing his dreams of becoming an astronaut. One evening, as they watched the sunset from the rooftop garden, Isabella tugged his sleeve. "Daddy, why did Miss Evelyn say you don't care?" Alexander's throat tightened. "She was wrong, sweetheart. I do care, more than anything. I just forgot how to show it." Ethan looked up, his blue eyes earnest. "Is money bad, Daddy?" "No, buddy. Money can do good things, like help people or build dreams. But it can't hug you when you're sad or listen to your stories. That's what love does." As the city lights twinkled below, Alexander felt a profound shift. His empire no longer defined him, his children did. He established a foundation in Sophia's name, funding programs for single parents and child welfare, channeling his wealth into real change. Months later, on Sophia's birthday, they visited her grave. Isabella placed flowers, whispering, "Mommy, Daddy's different now. He's our hero." Alexander smiled through tears, holding their hands. Money had built his walls, but love tore them down. In the end, the greatest fortune was the one he held, their trust, their laughter, their unbreakable bond. He had learned the hard way. True wealth lay not in bank accounts, but in the hearts we nurture. Thank you for watching this story till the end. Sparkles. If it touched your heart, please support us. Thumbs up sign, give it a like. Speech balloon, share your thoughts in the comments. Bell, subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. Your support helps us create more stories that inspire and make you believe in miracles. Your participation means a lot to us. Heavy Blackheart Hash.